we are starting the program.
There we go.
It's happening right now.
Hello, and welcome back to Alpha Book Club. This is our online interactive book club. You guys know what it is. You can join right from your computer.
What's a computer?
I'm Rachel Hine, not Maud Garrett. And joining me as always is the lovely Maud Garrett.
You're Maud Garrett. I don't know who this Maud Garrett is because I go by another name, Mrs. Herbert. How is everybody the same? Oh, hello.
Welcome. I'll be an American for this one. And Hercule Poirot.
Yes, Hector Poirot. I have deduced who it is. It is the one-armed man.
It was
Thank
not
you.
me. It was the one
That will be $1 million, please. $1,000,000 francs.
What?
A million what?
I will not pay in
$1
that
million
currency.
francs.
Oh, francs.
It still doesn't sound like what you're thinking it sounds.
Francs.
But that's an exhausting payment.
Welcome to our Alpha community. We missed you guys. We hope you had a good Thanksgiving break if you're in the United States, and that you missed us because we missed you. And it's been 2 weeks. We've been waiting 2 weeks to reveal
That we have.
who done it on Murder on the Orient Express, which we are reading by Agatha Christie. And last week, no, the week before, was troublesome because some of us
One of us.
read ahead. And
Who did that?
and
I have the
knew-
evidence right here. There is a bite mark, as you can see.
Yeah, I forgot.
It was left behind
There
by the
is
culprit.
some evidence.
The one Maud Garrett.
But now
bit
we
my
all know.
butt.
That Maud sounds
You're
like
big.
a hasty little thing.
You're big. So
My
we're
muscle
going
book.
to revisit our beautiful murder board that we love so much. Thank you guys backstage for making it for us.
Murder board.
Murder, murder, board, board. I've had one super
Girl?
one.
She
She gone, girl.
she bore.
I thought we were trying to do murder board to Beyonce surfboard. I was like,
murder
are we?
board?
Is I trying to?
Writing on it, thinking about it. Murder board. Yeah, cool.
Perfect. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mom.
Done. Yep. So we're gonna go through the end of the book. We're gonna talk about who done it, who we thought did it, what we thought about the book, and then if you guys saw the film,
The movie.
the new film, which we did,
Maud
we're
and
gonna
I saw
talk
it.
about that. Yeah,
We did.
I saw it too, but I wasn't with you guys.
Cool.
You're a little under the weather.
I was sick.
Can you deduce without evidence what that actually means?
What?
It sounds like a code.
Under the weather? Yeah. She didn't want to hang out with us.
I was drunk. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I was drunk. This is drunk. No. But if you guys are joining us, did everyone finish the book? Were you guys right? Make sure you're joining in on the chat because the best thing about this book club is that we can chat with you. So we're gonna revisit our murder board. Actually, Hector, would you like to go revisit
I
it?
would love to. Yes, of course.
Adorable.
Here we go.
You were just so good at it last time.
Wait, I forgot my wine. Okay.
Oh, that's very important.
the
to
most
have
important
that.
part. It's a
And
murder board.
hopefully you guys have
yeah.
noticed that we're a little dressed
A little drunk, not yet.
differently.
But just you wait. Yes, we're getting
in
character.
honor of Murder on the Orient Express. So, Hector.
That's good wine.
So,
I think Knox made a really great point. We should all really talk about who we did think the murderer
Yeah.
was. And the best thing about it is that no one's wrong.
God, that's such a
yes.
good Southern drawl. It's amazing.
Rachel,
So,
who did you land on 2 weeks ago?
So I was I orange?
I think you were blue.
That was blue.
Yeah. So I thought, yes. So first I thought that Mary Debenham was too obvious because of that first
The dialogue.
sequence with her and the colonel. And I thought maybe she had a different secret that she was hiding. Then I thought Mrs. Hubbard was too big and loud to be.
That is so not true.
I'm so sorry.
I don't think that at all. I thought she was in perfect character.
You know what, Mom? Can I just say, I
Yeah.
would have never cast you as a Mrs. Hubbard until I
Until
saw
now.
Michelle Pfeiffer,
Yeah.
a very beautiful blonde woman, and I'm like, you know what? I think you could do it. Now I can see you doing a Mrs. Hubbard, but before, which is from the book, couldn't see it. But then they cast the brilliant Michelle Pfeiffer.
the casting is different and
All over
there
the
are
place.
A lot of
It's not
changes.
Colonel
Willem Dafoe.
Arbuthnot, it's
We'll
Colonel
definitely talk
Arbuthnot.
about the movie.
Exactly.
But I thought that it was either these two.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. I thought that it was these two, that Mary was the daughter or the sister, and that Mrs. Hubbard was mom.
Now, I did try to give you a hint last week just to get one ball
what was
rolling.
That? You were trying to get this happening.
No, I was trying to tell you guys that the mother of the murdered, well, the woman who gave
the Armstrong
stillbirth,
case.
thank you, the mother.
She died.
Because it was an actress. No, she didn't.
Oh, the mother
It seemed
of
as if she did die, but she did not die, and there was an actress who was American. And I was like, good Lord, who is an American woman of that bold who could be an over-the-top theatrical person?
Yeah.
And neither of you got it, did you? Which is why I bit the book.
I didn't want
I
to.
was so close.
No, I know.
I was really close.
I figured it out, Maud, and when you dropped that very obvious hint,
Yeah.
I felt like you gave it away, and I was mad at you, and I didn't want to humor you. So that's why I didn't.
I remember that. You did. You were like,
I was like, Maud, I just figured it out.
Oh.
but you wouldn't address it.
But then I was
Yeah.
also very highly indicating that it doesn't actually further much. I just needed, you guys needed to have something.
It's
You
some
needed
of
something
it
tangible.
does. And Hector, who did you think it was?
I settled on Mrs. Hubbard, along with Hildegard Schmidt, because of the H handkerchief, which she said was not hers, but I believe
She was
she
right.
could
It was not
have
hers.
secrets. That's what I believe, that she was too meek, and that she was also maybe perhaps being an actress.
Oh.
I don't know what accent I'm going into now, but,
But it's fine. I
like
love it. I love it.
It's good. Very good.
So I want to say this and pitch it to everyone else as well, because some people are saying already that the ending of the book was not great. I think Agatha Christie left so much of it in the dark, where there wasn't enough planted kind of things that could seamlessly tie it together. Like, we were questioning everyone. I almost wish there was like 3 that were absolutely guaranteed and maybe one thing contradicted it and you actually were formulating somewhat of a plan. But by the time it all unfurled, you were just like, what?
There were a few.
That's such a stretch. The
Yeah.
fact that he got out of nowhere that the
Yes.
Italian man who dealt with cars was the chauffeur.
The driver.
You
Yeah,
know,
there
like-
were a few that were huge connections. And I remembered sort of when I was finishing the book that a lot of her books follow a similar structure, as many famous authors do. But it's that, like, a certain number of people in one scenario and those kind of red herrings and
What's it called?
figuring
Like
it out.
it's like a closed room murder, is what
Yeah,
it's called,
something-
or something? A
yeah.
close quarters murder?
Yeah, where there are only a few, it can only be the people who are present.
One of the murderers is on the train with us right now.
And supposedly the clues are all there, but I do agree with you that some of them make sense. Like, obviously we knew that her family members were here, but then it's like, and then there was the driver and also the maid, and you're like, okay,
What is happening?
we didn't get enough of these clues. But Hector,
And it wasn't even a sweater unravel. I would have loved to have had like
Yeah.
one lead and then being able to have it unfold like that. But it was just kind of like you were so blindsided by so much of it, and then it was this mic drop.
it was
and you're
just,
like,
it was
what?
just announced. They put it out there and explains it, and they have a quick moral quandary, not really, and then it's over.
Yeah.
It was very quick. But Hector, can you gingerly do the honors of
Yes.
flipping?
I will now reveal who in fact was guilty of the murder. Brace yourselves. Hold on to your underpants.
Ooh, nice
Gently,
and
gently,
gentle.
Gingerly, it was all of them. They all did it.
Oh. except one of them,
Yes,
Hercule.
that's true. And
I love it. This
Monsieur
whole
Book.
plan was meticulously planned out with like even
Dang.
alternative scenarios. They had plan A, plan B, plan C, but they did not plan to have the infamous Hercule Poirot on board. What are you doing, man? Yeah, that kind of screwed up their entire plans.
Yeah.
Really?
Because, well, having him on board, but also the train getting derailed.
Physically.
Because they were going to make it look like someone had snuck off the train,
But then
and they would assume that it was some random person that had been in Miss Hubbard's cabin, that had stolen the uniform, that had left the uniform somewhere kind of obvious. All of these clues
still a
would
bit
be
vague, wasn't it? that
laid,
whole
but
thing?
I feel like if Perot was not there, and Ratchet had just been murdered and all these clues were there, people would have been like, well, looks like some vagabond snuck on the train, you know, and
that's what the
so that sort
end
of
was as well.
foils them.
Really. And I think he almost knew that. He's like so impressed. He goes, guys, you nearly got me. Like that was pretty tight. You've had this figured out. And it's understandable why the emotions are so high around this particular case. And he was just like, I wasn't here.
Yep.
You know, I'm going to wash my hands clean from this.
I don't blame him.
I kind of like the way that the movie decided to end it with Poirot. If we could talk about that for a second, because they had.
Let's talk about the movie.
They had Kenneth Branagh basically act like, first of all, his character was a superhero. His character was also Sherlock Holmes, Benedict Cumberbatch combined with Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
But also like, yeah, I honestly really didn't like anything about Branagh's portrayal of Poirot.
He was so chewing up the scenery.
And,
it was
and
ridiculous.
Can you just fix your tie?
Yep.
She'll get it soon. She gets it.
Oh, sorry. I actually have one on. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But that's like those
you
little-
just did the like bloop thing to
Yeah.
me, basically.
Yes, I
From far away.
Wow.
Yeah, Maud's a bully. You're right. She's
so
a bully.
Poirot is a bully? Is that what that is? Or has he just got severe OCD?
In this, I
Yeah.
didn't
He was Monk.
like him. I hated the beginning.
It was so stupid.
was so
It's
dumb.
great.
Cheesy acting, wasn't there?
It was
I will
really
put my
cheesy.
walking stick here because I know he will try to run away and then come back and hit his face.
I mean, I
Oh
didn't
my
mind
gosh.
that. I was
But
like,
what I liked,
really?
the ending of it was that Poirot was so about justice that he had a gun and he was like, it is up to you to make the choice. You must kill me or,
I know.
No, that's so
or go to
It's
jail
so
because I will send you
theatrical.
to jail. It's so theatrical,
No.
so over the top.
And
he
Poirot in the
just-
book is not at all. He's super subtle. He's super almost meek in a way.
He's,
but he's
getting
like-
them to underestimate him in the book a little bit.
Mm.
And Kenneth Branagh was just, and I love and respect him. I think he's very talented, but it seemed like he was a little in love with his own, because he directed it too. And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, you gotta chill a
I need
little
to
bit.
just put some light onto one moment where I was audibly just like, ah, in the theatre.
What, remind me.
Oh,
what part?
my dear sweet Catherine.
Oh, yeah.
my love, my
Why
love.
did they add that?
What was the purpose of that?
Why does Poirot does not need a dark backstory?
It didn't add anything. You didn't understand why. Yeah, it just was kind of pointless, and it didn't add a dimension to this character, which is what I think they were trying to achieve.
Yeah, and it seemed like they were trying to make it seem as though he, you know, there's like one more, you know, he's kind of been pulled out of the game a little bit and sort of reluctant to do anything. And it's just like, that doesn't, I don't know.
Here's what was fun about watching the movie with Maud, because she had read the book, and when we were walking in, she was like, way to have the movie ruin the book for you. And I threw it right back at her. I was like, way to have the book ruin the movie for you. And she was
Yeah.
like, oh, touche, all right, great. Because
Yeah,
I
you
went
did.
into it, I had read 3/4 of the book.
Oh,
So watching the movie
Hector.
was like the first time I experienced the ending. And like Thierry says in the chat, yes, I did see the movie before finishing the book, and I like that I reacted with a theater room with people that had no idea of the ending. A cumulative gasp at the reveal is better than alone. And I like turned to Maud and I was like, what? And then Maud was like, they all did it. They're all,
I was
all
so
of them.
smug. all of them, yeah.
And then I was like, this is crazy. And what I like about here's the other thing too. I just looked up the original year that this book came out, because
1924?
1934.
1934.
I have to keep reminding myself, 1934, before World War II,
Yeah.
before probably my grandfather was born. Maybe, I don't know. But like a long time ago, Agatha Christie wrote this story. So knowing that, it's so fucking good. But
Yeah.
it's just become so classic that it's the twist ending, the ending of everybody being in on it, reminded me of, at least it acknowledged the fact that it was too much of coincidence that all of these passengers were on this train, and they eventually we learned that they're all connected. It reminded me of the moment in the trailer for the movie Identity with John Cusack, where they're like, wait, is your birthday the same day? Yeah, mine is too. Yeah. And they all have the same birthday, and you're like, what is that weird movie going to be about? And then you watch it, and it's weird, but it's like,
weird.
but it starts with a dramatic question of, what if a bunch of strangers met in a hotel room and they all had the same birthday? And you're like, what does that
Why
mean?
would I watch that?
I will
what-
also
Is what I
say
Yeah.
two things.
Yeah.
One, last week or the week before, some folks in the chat suggested keeping the murder board and keeping track of wine that we've
yeah,
drunk,
yeah.
tangents we've gone on,
Books I've thrown.
books you've thrown, cannibal and or lost references, I guess. On
We got a
my-
tally? Oh, I'd move your foot, Hector. I would move it because this is. I like how good bounce on
That's a
it.
good bounce.
Oh, I
That was
bit
a
it.
very
I've
good bounce.
thrown it.
And that
didn't
popped
bounce
into
it.
my head because I have a really quick tangent, which is that in the movie Identity, have you actually seen it?
I think I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's, can I spoil it? It came out a long time ago.
Go
and it's
ahead.
a bad movie.
2004?
So, it's real silly. So you find out that they're all that all the characters are multiple personalities in one dude's head, and they're killing each other off. And the bad one ends up being a little boy. And when they go back and flash back to like how he killed everyone, there's one point that makes me laugh every time because he like. It's gonna take too. It's not gonna work without a visual. Look it up. It's really funny. I don't want to say it.
How does a
anymore.
little boy kill somebody?
He like he's
Pow.
in the car with his mom, and their like car has gone off the road, and he puts his like hand on the window, and she puts it on, and it's really cute. And then he moves backwards, and then she like steps back, and
And then yeah,
it's so fucked up.
That's
I know.
great.
But it just made me laugh because it's just so. It's a really.
it's like
silly
for me, it's like
movie.
Meet Joe Black. Whenever I think about that, I cannot help but laugh because it's such a crazy,
peanut
ridiculously violent death scene that Brad Pitt has, and
Oh
he
my
bounces
God,
off
he
of
does.
cars,
He
like,
flips, he
and
does.
it's hilarious. And that movie's kind of ridiculous, but it's
Yeah.
also horrifying.
It's horrifying. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
that same
Peanut
thing.
butter. Cool. People are actually weighing in on their thoughts with the movie, which I think is great, including the Tamaranian, I believe, who had said that it was as if Kenneth Branagh gave himself the instruction to act at a 14 and told everyone else to go at like an 8 or something.
Yes.
yeah, fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, and that's something I see in movies a lot where one person, like Charlton Copley in every movie he's in, is in like a different movie than everyone else that's like
Yeah.
ramped up to a
That's
million.
a great
Yeah.
observation.
And it's great. Or in Into the Woods,
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine and Meryl Streep go full musical, like full camp, and everyone else is like a little understated.
Yeah.
Kind of like in Beauty and the Beast, where you've got
Yes.
an amazing Luke Evans and
Yes.
Josh Gad, who's
Yes.
actor. I mean, Hector McQueen in this movie, and then Emma Watson didn't get the memo or the correct direction because she was not a Disney princess.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Come at me.
Nope.
that's harsh.
I
But she's a
agree.
Warner Brothers princess, right? Because her role in Harry Potter's are great.
What?
Her because we all love Hermione.
What's that?
Do we still love her for that, or
Yeah,
we
no,
already
I
have we
like her
already
in-
turned on
as Hermione,
Emma
but
Watson
would you
for
call
that?
her-
Hold on.
Princess?
Well, you know what we should do? Read the book.
Ooh, yeah.
Read the Monsieur Buick.
I just meant princess in the sense of like she's movie royalty
Okay,
because she
that's
was
fair.
Hermione in Harry
That's
Potter's.
fair.
Unless
I'll give you that.
we've already forgotten all those.
No, we haven't forgotten
Okay,
them. No.
good,
No.
good. I hope you guys haven't replaced Fantastic Beasts and Johnny Depp with the Harry Potters, right?
Can we replace him?
Yeah, digitally.
They
maybe.
could, yes. They
Yeah.
just bring Colin Farrell back.
Yeah.
Just be like, he
Yeah.
got stuck in the polyjuice potion.
Or recast
forever.
him like Dumbledore,
Yeah,
even though that
someone
actor
else.
passed away. I don't give a
Just
shit.
say
Yeah.
he
Recast
changed
him.
his identity so people couldn't
Yeah,
find
he's,
him.
he's
We
all
don't care.
apologies.
Don't
Yeah,
block
we-
people
we
on
don't
Twitter
care.
because they ask you about it. J.K. Rowling, boom, called you out, J.K.
Did she block
Don't
you
do it.
about
Yeah, man.
That
Not
sucks.
cool.
Did they were
Really
they
sucky.
were they aggressive and threatening?
They were like,
inquisitive.
so and so actor gets fired from Harry Potter because they were like drinking or something
Yeah,
because of, for some reason.
it's Crumb.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Crumb. It's Crab or Goyle. It's one
Oh
of them.
no,
yeah.
he's dealing drugs.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but Johnny Depp gets to keep his job, and then she blocked that person on Twitter.
That's a good point, though.
It is a good point.
Some people
Be consistent.
can't handle the truth.
Be consistent. It's like you want to be mad at Mel Gibson, go for it. Guy's an asshole,
Well, but it's
especially
power
after
and
what he
status.
just said.
This kid
But
only done one movie, hasn't he? But Johnny
What's that?
Depp, it's power and status. They get more.
No, Mel Gibson was nominated for an Oscar.
he
last
wouldn't.
year.
Mel Gibson was Hollywood royalty, and he's definitely been shot down to
He
crap.
was nominated for.
But
oh,
and
don't get
after
me.
that stupid
I'm
thing he
still
said,
mad
he's
Mel
going to be
Gibson.
done. But a couple years ago, he wasn't allowed to be in The Hangover, and I'm like, that's cool. But Mike Tyson's in those movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson put his hands on a woman.
There's
Yeah.
definitely a
Gotta be
double
consistent.
standard.
Hey, wait, here's an easy one. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or show it to people at work.
Oh yes, there you go.
Sorry,
I
don't
like
do it.
that.
Don't do it. But Johnny Depp is in this movie, bringing it back. And also, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, when you were talking about all the sort of classic mystery tropes and
Yeah.
endings, the thing, and someone else called this out in the chat that this reminds me of that is parodying these kind of mysteries is Clue, which is one of my
Yes.
favorite movies ever.
Yes. Multiple
I need
endings.
to watch it.
Have you never?
Maud.
I'm wearing a flower. Have you never seen? I did that today. I was trying to put my headphones on, and I was like, why aren't they? going.
I think I was too young. I was having a sick day, and it was a midday movie, and I was like, "Whoa, this is like not in the decade that I was born."
Love it. The sense of humor is super up your alley. It's for me.
Is it written by a Brit or something?
It might be.
You know what? Just because it's funny, we'll just assume it is.
That it's.
We'll
but
just
it was
give the
one
Brits
of
credit.
a similar movie to The Princess Bride when I was younger that taught me a certain sort of like punny, acerbic wit. It's really great, and it has that like they do multiple endings at the end, and they're all sort of they're like this is how it could have happened, or it could have happened this way.
Choose your own adventure in a movie.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, I'm down.
You should watch it.
I
But
will
this
watch
this reminded me of that quite a bit, and I feel like if you ever read her other books, Agatha Christie does something really smart in that she like kind of tweaks it up every time.
Really?
So the next one that they're teasing where he's going to Egypt and then they greenlit Death on the Nile.
Oh, they already have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, we're gonna get a
Death
Poirot.
on the Nile.
We're gonna get a Poirot cinematic universe.
No.
Who's going to cosplay as Poirot, do you think? Is it going to be a
I
thing?
don't
Who's
know.
the demographic for this bloody movie? Because
I
it
don't
was
know.
only recently out, and now cinema was pretty empty.
Yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say who was at Murder on the Orient Express besides
A couple
you
of
guys?
dudes.
Yeah, a couple of guys who were dragged onto dates that
Okay.
did not want to be there. But
Oh,
they were
and my
like,
favorite
maybe
is-
it'll land me some.
Before the movie started, there was this couple in the top left, and the woman leaned over to the man, and it was so adorable. She was like, "Is this based on a true story?" Like as the movie was starting, and I wanted to lean over and be like, "Yes, yes, it is. It all happened. It was real."
Well, it
so
is.
I don't know.
But
they seem to like it.
The case of Daisy is inspired, I think, by the Lindenberg baby who was kidnapped in the 20s.
Oh.
In the U.S., but yeah, not a real
I need to
story.
brush up
But
on my 20s history.
I want to talk more about the movie.
Okay.
Just because I wanted to go back and rewatch the 70s version, which is really, really great, and it has some really great actors in it.
Someone
but-
actually tweeted us a picture of it. Did I see Tim? Was it Curry? Was he in there?
This is the
I
70s
don't
version right here.
Someone.
We're looking at it
Can
right here,
someone
guys.
look up the cat? Yeah.
Look at who's in that.
Yeah.
Is
It's
that Mrs. Hubbard? 'Cause that's a good Mrs.
I
Hubbard
think
if
she
that's Mrs.
might.
Hubbard.
I think she might be
Possibly.
the.
Mary.
Oh yeah, and isn't that Anthony Perkins?
So the other thing that I noticed about the movie is that you had such an all-star cast and it was so great, but everyone only really got about 3 lines of dialogue at most. It was all Kenneth, and it was the second highest was Monsieur Bouc, and then the rest of it, honestly, they didn't really get to say too much.
Yeah,
It
they
felt
weren't.
like.
There were so many characters, and it was weird. Like, why did you want to have like a hot young Bouc who loves like that was
So
unnecessary.
unnecessary.
It was
Why?
Albert Finney
Yeah, it's a really good cast.
from Big Fish.
I'm trying to remember who else is in it.
This is I would probably, I don't, but the problem is
Yeah,
the
74.
Express, Agatha Christie's novel has been turned into a movie.
I'm now like less interested in watching other versions of the story because I just watched this new movie and I just read the book and I sort of know the ending that I'm almost less interested in. If this was on TV, if this is over like the Christmas break and I'm at a family's house and this is on TV and they're watching it, I'll sit down and be like, oh, okay, cool. I'm super ready to watch this, but I'm not going to seek it out. I don't, you know.
That's the thing about especially mysteries
with the
that
twist
aren't
thing.
as
Yeah.
character driven.
Yes.
Like the difference
is
with
very
Gone
plot-driven.
Girl is
Yeah.
it's so much more character driven, and when you get the reveal, you're like, oh man, and there's that unreliable narrator thing, and you want to go back and figure it out.
Yeah.
Whereas this is very plot driven, and the people are plot devices,
Yes.
and they're archetypes, and they serve a purpose, which is to start back from here, figure out how they all connect, and now that we've seen so many mysteries follow this path, I mean, this was very new at the time, obviously.
I know,
but it's
1934,
similar
man.
to, what did we read? We read something recently where it was, even A Wrinkle in Time, where we were like, oh, these themes and these time travel things are really, feel like we've seen them before in a lot of things, but it was sort of
Revolutionary at the time.
yeah, it was revolutionary at the time. Or what was the other? There was another one. Oh, The Giver.
Sure.
And all that sort of
Young adult.
not great, but the tropes that we now recognize in young adult dystopian kind of worlds.
Yeah.
That was sort of
All
the
That
started
one was a
with-
much more
Yeah.
recent book, though,
yeah.
in comparison. Like 1934, that's pretty impressive.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I read Agatha Christie, number one, because she's like one of the all-time authors ever. I'm glad that I read Murder on the Orient Express, a super famous story of hers, but I will probably never read an Agatha Christie book again. And I'm not super excited about other murder mysteries.
Interesting.
No.
Do you think you would like the Jim Butcher series though, which is more
Yes.
supernatural
Yes.
noir and more
Yes,
modern?
because
They're
because
not, no.
only because in the same way that like and when we read like 1984, Maud was pulling her hair out,
Yes.
and she
I'm
kept
actually bald. This
she
is a
kept-
wig, like Mrs. Hubbard.
she kept telling us every week. She's like, I like fantasy. I'm interested. When I was reading this, I was like, this helps me figure out what kind of literature I
Genres,
like, what kind of
yeah.
genre I'm drawn to.
What about a different one though?
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
not from
Hold on.
1934.
Because here's what we've done so far. We've done not a murder mystery, but we did House on Haunted Hill,
Yeah.
Haunting of Hill House rather,
Yes.
which is like supernatural ghost, and I'm into that. And
we haven't
then we
touched horror
read.
since.
We should do another horror one soon.
So I'm into that. Basically, Rachel, what I'm saying is, I'll read more stuff that you recommend. I'll absolutely do it if you recommend it.
yeah.
But I'm not going to go be like,
didn't pick
what's
this
the
one."
number one like mystery that's being sold right now? I don't care. I'm not
No,
gonna.
no. Okay. Because I also recommend based on what I
I know.
think people will like. And if we had enough time, the one I would want to do is a just straight mind fuck of a book.
What's that one?
House
It's called
of Leaves,
Mindfuck. Oh,
but
House
it's
of
like
Leaves.
1,000 pages long.
Oh, I'm so
And it's so good and so weird, and like the further you get into it, the type starts going around the page. Like it's very,
Oh, I like
it's
that.
very weird. But I don't know how we'd read it in a month.
I've got 3 things happening. Sorry, I have to list them all off because I was patiently listening to the conversation and so much was happening not only
Thank
in
you,
the
Ma.
chat but in my mind. Number
Thank you.
1, do you think that you would enjoy murder mystery more if there were tangible evidence that you'd missed that had been dropped in such a subtle and clever way that you'd be like, if I had only like.
I know
Yeah,
that you're.
I think
more
some
to
of
go
them are
on.
more.
Because I felt like this book was
Yeah.
like nothing, ha ha.
I know that you're.
Yeah.
That you were very stuck on the rightfully so, on the evidence that came out of nowhere that Poirot just knew.
Yeah.
Although I think that the number one thing that I didn't even realize was the fact that they said a few times, maybe once or twice, 12 stab wounds.
Yes.
Completely like mismatch, out of order. Like there's no
Yeah.
order to
And
that.
12 people on the train. Yeah.
That's the one thing where I was like, oh, Agatha, you got me, girl. You got me good. I should have been paying attention. 12 people on the train, 12 suspects, essentially, and 12 stab wounds.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're absolutely right. And there's
Yeah.
a bunch. So I think maybe to answer your question, probably, I would like maybe a story where there's almost multiple versions, like 2 or 3 strands of like, it's definitely one of these
Perspective,
3.
yeah,
You almost
yeah.
have to pick which one and kind of make your case for it as a reader and let your emotions get involved. Like, I think it's this guy because of
Yeah,
this.
but we
At
didn't.
the end, they might go, it was actually this. And then you go, oh shit, they was that.
I would say more
Yeah.
mysteries are like that,
Yeah.
where I read a lot of them, but where there's either the person that it's obvious that. So when you're reading it, you're like, okay, well, I presume it's not the obvious person. Sometimes they flip it and
The
then it
Scooby-Doo
is,
effect.
right? But then
Yeah.
there are other characters who, like I said with Mary Debenham, where it is a different secret or a different plot point. And one of the things that the Jim Butcher books do, which is more noir, is there's sort of an A mystery and a B mystery,
Cool.
and then they end up
Intertwining.
connecting.
Oh, cool. I like that.
Yeah, I
which
like
is
that a lot.
really fun
Like a good
because
Simpsons
Always
episode.
something that's kind of like
yeah,
throwing
like
you back
good
into the
TV,
story.
yeah, where
Yeah.
they
great.
kind of mix in together,
plot, B-plot.
and that doesn't take away from the enjoyment. That's one
Yeah.
where the format actually really helps, because as soon as you get the first mystery, and Jim Butcher too plays on like different noir tropes like the femme fatale and
Yep,
different
I like
stuff
that.
like
I
that.
like that.
And it's very much like 40s noir cinema, which is really fun. But then as soon as someone else comes into the story, you're like, oh, that's the B plot, but you don't know how they connect. And
Yeah.
the fun is like trying to figure out how they're going to connect.
Okay.
So we should definitely do
That'd be
Jim
great.
Butcher.
I'd be down.
I need to
What
get
were
back into
things
them.
2 and 3 that you wanted to talk about?
DeMarco Drawers was like, Rachel, do you know about the Golden Compass series? I just wanted you to make a face to respond to that. That's all.
I can't wait I'm going to watch the movie over the break, you guys. Daniel
No,
Craig,
don't
Ava
watch the
Green.
movie.
Don't watch the movie.
Read the
Hey,
book.
guys.
Definitely read the book instead
I'm
of
going
Read
to
the
rent this
book.
film. I cannot
No.
wait. I'm so
I'm
excited.
gonna
don't watch the
finally.
Cool.
And the third
Steven,
thing, super quickly, is
Whose side are you on?
did you just happen to have
Not
that
mine, obviously.
in your wardrobe? Where
What?
did this costume come from?
Yes.
Did you just happen to have it?
I did. I had an ill-fitting vest in my wardrobe that I brought to work today. And this is my hat. And this is my mustache, for real.
Did you
And
make
this
the
is
mustache?
my mug. I did not, no.
Where'd you get
The
it?
wonderful producers made this thing for me to put this bad
Aw,
boy on. With a little bit of
really
tape.
It is such a divine mustache.
Can we talk about the casting a little bit? Because
Thank you,
I
Aaron.
love Michelle Pfeiffer, and I thought she did probably the most work, dramatic work in this movie,
Yes.
obviously being who she played.
Mm-hmm.
But the changes that they made, which I understand they did because they cast Michelle Pfeiffer, so they sort of changed what she was talking about.
Oh, how Ratchet was hitting on her.
Yeah,
That was so weird.
It was weird.
It was so
Ugh,
weird.
that
Johnny
was
Depp
weird,
is- yeah.
and
Well, you had to hate this guy, so the first
Yep.
way to do that is to make
Yeah.
it.
But they
Pick
kind
a
of make
punchable
her
just
a
like
bit
Ben
of a femme
Affleck.
fatale.
Yeah,
She was a
they,
bit of a,
they
you
make
know-
her, instead of this kind of outlandish, larger than life personality, like I would imagine. I'm trying to think
Mm-hmm.
of someone who would play that character really
Which
well.
character?
Mrs. Hubbard.
Oh, right.
As in the book, like a Southern.
Like Kathy Bates.
Kathy
That's
Bates
how,
would
you know
be
what I
great.
mean? Like that. Like she
Kathy
would be
Bates would be
that
great.
type of Your mom, is that what you said?
No, well, that's the thing is Michelle Pfeiffer reminds me of my mom, and so it's always weird when I see her in stuff, but it just having that, like, where she's like, I'm looking for a husband, and I was like, why
Yeah.
are we doing this? And then Johnny Depp was, I get that you wanted to be someone slimy and gross to play Ratchet, but he was,
played the role well.
but he
Yeah,
was,
he did.
I thought he was chewing the scenery a lot too.
Yeah, of course. Because he's a gangster.
You
You
get
got
into
hired to
doing
come
them,
and
yeah.
do.
It was like
I need you to
so
do a job for
much.
me. I'm a
It was,
gangster.
like so over the
I
top.
thought it was. I mean, so is Ratchet in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually was
Yes.
like, damn, Johnny Depp's doing a good job.
He did a great job. He's a very talented actor.
Yeah.
He's probably a piece of shit human being. That
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
shouldn't get any more work.
Yep.
Sorry, Disney.
Penelope
Yep.
Cruz,
Yeah.
she was like, she had
Yeah.
her 3 lines. She was like, I need to stand out. I
Yeah.
need to do something with them. So she was a bit
Yeah.
melodramatic.
Get in, get out. I
Josh
liked-
Gad was great. Was
Great. He
great
was
as
actually
Hector
really
Queen.
Except-
nice and subtle.
The
I
action
get
sequence.
that you're on a train. Like, it's really boring to film a movie where you're just talking in a room the whole time
Yeah.
on a train.
Yeah.
But why? Why?
I don't know, man.
Why
The action
him?
sequence.
Why
watched
that?
I watched a review on YouTube somebody threw up of this, and they were very like well informed, and they said it feels like the only way that a major studio would
Justify
greenlight this
it.
movie
Yeah.
is if they turned it into a superhero film.
Yes. So
where
just
it's
don't,
where it's
well, okay.
Yeah.
Why did this movie need to be made?
Yep.
It didn't.
No.
No, it
It
didn't.
didn't need to be made.
It didn't.
It doesn't
no.
really translate if you need to change it that much.
Yeah.
You're not capturing
And-
what's
and
good about
What's
it.
so interesting is, well, it just seemed like a Kenneth Branagh vanity project that
Yes,
was
it did.
put across his desk, and he's like, "I'll do this, and I'll be Poirot, and it'll be great."
And my mustache will be the
Oh,
biggest
boy.
one.
But like, if you're trying to like be true to the source material, it probably should have been a high-profile television miniseries with
On the BBC or
with a
something.
cast that was that good. You know, nowadays in TV, you can reach out to
HBO.
actors of that
Yeah.
caliber and go, "But this is going to be like a HBO miniseries.
yeah,
it's going to be
HBO, Stars,
Yes.
it could be any of those,
Yes.
AMC even,
Yep.
and it could be 5 episodes. It doesn't even need to be that long.
Yeah. It
It didn't need to
most
have the production
series-
budget that it had, and
No,
I
it
think that
didn't.
they were trying to expand upon
Looked
how can
beautiful,
we
though,
make
but
this
yeah.
such a good movie. Oh, those sweeping location shots following the train was just stunning.
Yeah.
But you're right, they were just like, ooh, what we have to work with isn't enough, so we're just going to give it CPR and push life into it. But the life that it put into it was just so,
It
The
just
Tamarind
made it
genuine.
it made it like a dark drama
Yeah.
action movie, which is like, it's the same thing, not to go on another tangent, but like with the Mummy with Tom Cruise and the Dark Universe stuff, where
never
it's
saw
like,
it.
why are you making movies that are all the same when
Because
what's
they s-
interesting about them is that they're different?
because they still have a ride at Universal.
But you could make a
Yeah.
Mummy movie that's
know.
not. I love the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies.
Oh, they're so bad.
Love
They're so
But they're-
good.
But
One
they're
and
but they're
two?
fun.
Oh, I
they're
love
so
so
fun.
good. And Rachel
I
Weisz is
actually
so good
like-
in that because she.
I
Rachel
like
Weisz was amazing.
2
Mummy Returns is
more
better than The Mummy. I
one.
agree.
Yes!
But they're both bad films,
Because they
but they're
have
fun.
cool past lives.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
cool.
Hey man, here's my real quick pitch on the Dark Universe, especially after Guillermo just said it. Guillermo del
Oh,
Toro
I
was like,
know.
I regret not doing it. He should have been in charge of it.
Yes.
Of
And
what one?
secondly, of the Dark Universe.
Yeah, the
Guillermo del
Mummy,
Toro
yeah.
passed on it. He was given the opportunity apparently by Universal to head
He
this
should have done
this
it.
whole franchise endeavor. Number two, I realized this months ago when in promotion for that movie, Universal put out a black and white sizzle reel of all of their old movie monster classics. And I haven't even seen those movies, and they're the most iconic.
Yeah.
They're the most famous, the most beautiful, looking classic movies. And I thought, imagine if they made modern movies with even set in the present day, starring Tom Cruise, but it was black and white.
And
imagine
practical effects and all
practical,
this.
but
cool-
imagine
yeah.
it even with CG, but it was black and white. Imagine how cool it would have been
That would
if
be
a
cool.
multi-million-dollar franchise was like, here's how we're going to be stylistically distinctive from all the other crap
But
that's
also
out there
they
right now.
cast
I would have loved that.
5 different 50-year-old white dudes as all the characters. Why
Yeah.
are you doing that?
I know.
That could have been so interesting. There's
But
so many characters.
who was going to be Frankenstein's monster? Javier Bardem, and I was.
That would have been cool. I would have been on board with that.
And I was really hoping that they were going to get his wife, Penelope Cruz,
Oh,
to
yeah.
be the bride of Frankenstein.
I think it was
and
going
then
to
I
be
heard,
Angelina Jolie.
And I was like, I'm cool with that too.
I would have been cool with that
I'm
too.
cool
But
with
all
that
the
too.
other ones, it was
Yeah.
like Russell Crowe.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still mad at you for Les Mis.
Action hero,
Still
Russell
mad.
Crowe. Action
mad.
hero, Johnny
You
Depp
can't
as
sing,
the
I'm
Invisible
very
Man.
sorry.
Action hero.
Oh, that was Johnny Depp too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
why?
but it was
What
just
is he
like,
doing?
why are these are so cool and macabre and interesting?
Yeah.
Why are you turning it into a Tom Cruise in a plane
Yeah,
Mission
yeah.
Impossible
Oh
movie?
no, a plane crashed? That's in every Tom Cruise movie ever.
I know, and they're
It's in
great
his-
in Mission
Yeah.
Impossible
Oh, it's the
movies,
best.
but I don't want that in my mummy movie.
Didn't
Yeah.
you do Jack Reacher as well? One of them.
Yeah, but that's at least like, although that guy's supposed, anyway, in the books is like a totally different character. But there's some, obviously there's license to take these things and make something new. But what bothers me is that making something new is the same kind of like gray, CG,
Yeah.
action, paint by numbers movie that even with all these twists is like, it's just boring.
So
There's
what
no
is it-
style to it.
Does it come down to an executive or a studio
Yes.
safety net?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, it's just thinking that, well, this will make money because the other things made money. But what we're seeing, not with Murder on the Orient Express, but Dark Universe is not happening.
It's unfortunate, but I believe that these huge studios that spend a lot of money on this shit have actual proven formulas that are like, if we put this variable and this variable and this variable in the film, it will make this amount of dollars, which is the only way we can justify spending X amount of dollars so
you
we
don't
can get
need
Y.
to spend that.
X amount of dollars.
You don't
I
need
get
to.
it,
We
I
don't.
get it.
The CG looks bad, but yeah, were you distracted by the
100%
McGonagall?
distracted.
Yeah.
No idea what Bucky B is talking about in the chat and how it began because the chat has been going so fast.
What? Young
But says
McGonagall.
Rachel Weisz needs to play a young McGonagall.
In the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Now,
that's probably
you know
what
what?
Bucky's
Can
talking
we
about.
actually just step away from
Yeah.
Fantastic Beasts altogether? Can we just have young Hogwarts?
Young Hogwarts?
Yeah, even go back to when Tom Riddle was there. We keep going back even
I say
further.
ditch the prequels altogether. Sorry, Harry Potter land, but let's do post Harry Potter. I want to see the movies about their kids. Let's do that.
you-
And go in the
So, did
future.
you-
Let's go in the
No.
future in the year
Okay,
2040.
So here's
Let's do
the
that.
thing.
That's
I
what I wanna
agree
do.
with you that I'm not.
Try.
Well, so if okay.
Because the world of Harry Potter isn't as good as the story of Harry. Harry's story is a perfectly crafted
Here's the thing, I think
7-book,
they
8-movie
picked-
thing.
Well, I think they picked the wrong character to follow in the Fantastic
Should have been an American.
Beasts movie. No, I mean,
I agree.
no.
No?
I just think that he's already a wizard, and they don't bring you into that sense of wonder. It should have been
A new wizard.
He's
the
also
fri-
a
or his fri-
goddamn Muppet.
Yeah, he wasn't great in that. But
He was a foppy Muppet.
I'll leave Eddie
not-
Redmayne
it's not a-
alone.
I did not enjoy that movie, but I feel like you have to have an outsider. We've talked about this in
Yeah.
storytelling. You have to have someone who comes into the world and
learns
discovers
it for the
it.
first
Dan
time.
Fogler
So-
was kind of that.
Yes, and so if you
And he
would
was the best part of the movie.
if you
was.
would follow
by a mile.
him
Yeah.
into this, then you can learn about it.
Yeah.
But I am excited. Minus the John, like I'm really upset that Johnny Depp is the character who's playing
it's-
Grindelwald
yeah.
because I would love to see the Dumbledore Grindelwald story unfold and have the romantic elements that it should. Because they loved each other.
That's right.
And I
was like,
really
wait a
want to
second,
see it. And
Dumbledore's never
Jude
been
Law.
with the word.
Honestly, I'm on board with Jude Law.
Yeah, great.
Jude Law and Colin Farrell in a
Oh yeah,
Forbidden Love
Get your G.I. Joes
Rage.
and mash that
I
together.
mean,
Yeah.
please,
Yeah.
I want it. Make it happen.
Put their flat parts together, make it happen, G.I. Joe style.
Oh, little nubs.
Sure.
There's nubs.
There's nubs. There
There's
is.
a- there's a bump.
There's a shape.
There's enough to work
I've-
with.
But I think, so I would love to see that prequel, and I think there are, even going back to the original houses and all of the characters who started the houses, that would be interesting to me.
That'd be
And
cool.
I would like to see the future, but
Thank you.
the cursed child
Oh, that really
soured
just-
me
yeah.
on
But
all of it.
you guys haven't seen the play yet. You
I
only
know,
read
but it's like
the
bad.
script.
And what upset me was that the parts that I liked, we're on a full tangent now, but the parts that I liked about The Cursed Child, which I read on a plane, were the characters of the two boys.
Yep.
But they skipped through all their years to get to the parts that they want to talk about. I would have liked to see them and that dynamic
From the get-go.
And also, I felt like they also loved each other. One of them loved the other one a lot, and then they were like, and then they end up with girl. And I was just like,
yeah, here we go.
but it's
You know what the solution is? I'm hoping that Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy is going to center around Poe, and you make him gay.
Yeah,
That's the
with Finn.
solution, huh?
Yeah.
If not with Finn, if Finn's like,
anyone.
yeah, if Finn's like, oh, I don't feel that way. Poe's like, that's cool. You're missing out.
I'm gonna
Bye.
go smooch.
Yeah. I'm gonna go smooch a boy, rookie boy.
I'm in.
That'd be great.
Super in.
That's the solution.
I would
Star
watch
Wars
a
would do it.
Trooper in
Poe
Stormtrooper.
trilogy of
would too.
smooching. Lots
Poe
of
trilogy,
smooching.
Poe.
Guys, what were we talking about with this book? Where were we at? Did you guys like the
Mysteries?
twist endings?
Oh, we were talking about the casting and how
Right.
who nailed it and who
Oh
didn't.
yeah, who else? There's.
I love Willem Dafoe.
I forgot who's Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe was the detective from New
Who was
York,
the
Oh,
German
yeah.
but he was like a
detective?
German like racist.
That was
Yeah.
that was.
yeah.
And then he was like, "Hey, by the way, yeah, about that."
going on,
And then
man?
you're like, "But I've missed so many key things already that like I don't even know."
Oh,
why.
I liked Daisy Ridley, and they didn't make her
Yeah.
seem as guilty in the movie as she does in the book. I think
I
I felt-
felt okay.
I thought she was
okay.
great.
I liked her, and I liked that
she was
they
okay.
they played up more of the romance angle between her
Yes.
and the Colonel,
Abbott
and
Not.
what
The
that would
Forbidden
mean
Love.
in
Abbott
that time.
Doc.
Yeah,
Abbott
and the
Doc.
who's
Yeah, the
combined
Doc,
to
yeah.
be the Colonel.
There we
I
go.
Yeah,
agree.
Book.
He was great. He was
Book I
handsome.
liked, and he was fun, but I don't know why they had to have the prostitute in there. Like, if you're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
make him a young hot Book, that's
It's supposed to be like
fine.
exposition, but it's like, what?
I know when he
Was
was
it-
like,
Haha, I'm going to touch her on the funny. Ha ha ha. You're like, what? Like,
Well,
who cares, man?
when we
Was it
run
to
into
show that
him-
he's like aloof,
and
so that we
There are
never think he could be in on it? I don't
definitely
know.
other ways to do that, but
Yeah.
when he comes in and he's like, "Is that you are with the prostitute?" and she was like, "Ah, yes." I was like, "What?
why?
What's happening
And he's
here?"
like, but I still respect you as a woman. And you're like, okay, this is the worst exposition ever.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
weird.
it was a lot of exposition.
It was weird.
Which
Yeah.
works sometimes in a book.
I didn't mind the exposition about the policeman, like calling him out in the public scenario, knowing that, you know, earlier saying, can you cover the west
Yeah, that's fun.
entrance, and then putting that there. And I liked that. I was like, good. You understand that he's really, really smart. He's got his mind switched on in the appropriate ways. But yeah, Book, they were like, oh gosh, he's got like, you know, the next most amount of dialogue. We've got to quickly show what kind of guy he is. In the book, he's like he's a bit foppy as well, but it's at least he kind of like, you know,
He has like
had
dinner.
a job to do.
He has like dinner with Poirot before they get on the train. Like that's his character before
Yeah.
But
they're
in
on
the
the
book,
train.
he worked with the detective agency, didn't he? He was
He had
not
worked with
the-
him before.
yeah.
I think they needed like a secondary character to bounce off, and for him to not be talking to himself, or a picture of his wife.
I
who's
did-
dead.
Who was
Oh, wait.
murdered?
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
I did
Like,
like
at
the
all.
flashbacks. I thought those were done well
Yeah.
to like parts of the story.
And I also have to mention when they go into the Armstrong case with the flashbacks, because I was listening to the score for the film while reading the book.
Sure.
The score, who I'm forgetting who did the score, but it may have been
So it's Silvestri?
no, it wasn't Alan Silvestri. I think it was the guy who did the first Thor movie with Kenneth Branagh. I think it was him.
Oh, right.
Anyway, he did the piece that was called the Armstrong Case was this beautiful little piano piece, and it really slowed everything down. I was like, this is good. This is really good. And it made it sad. So I like that.
I liked the Countess too, even though I didn't get why they
Dame
made
Judi
her.
Dench?
No, that was the Duchess, right?
Oh. I don't know the difference between a countess and a duchess.
I don't
oh,
either.
the
The
countess
young
was the
one
young woman that was
who
like
ended up
addicted
being
to something.
who was the
who's-
sister.
Hold
Yeah.
on, the one whose husband was just again so over the top.
Yeah.
About being
Oh, when
violent
he like
and punching
when
someone.
he jumped. No, at the beginning when he
Yeah.
jumped up and like
Kung fu kick,
roundhouse
yeah.
kicked a guy in the face. I looked him on and I went, "What are we in for? Are you kidding
I'm
me?"
like,
but
just
then later it's like, "Well, he's a
flabbergasted.
ballerina." I'm like, "What? All right." That's how he can kick men with the roundhouse
Like
kicks.
the pointed toe.
Yeah, it was so funny. Ballet fighting needs to be a thing. I bet it is.
It is West Side Story. Thank you.
Ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da.
You guys, they did West Side Story at the Disney Concert Hall with the LA Phil, and I didn't know, and I'm really sad I missed it because that would have been amazing.
Yeah, I feel
That's all I
nothing.
got.
Raven Wolf says, "I need to watch this new movie. Still haven't seen it. Wait for video. Wait for when it's on HBO."
The Tim Iranian says, Clearly, his wife's soul is trapped in that photograph, and he has to solve 100 murders before she can be freed.
Can we,
I would
like,
watch that
MVP
movie
comments?
100%.
That would be great.
100%.
The Tamaranian, is that a reference to Starfire from Teen Titans? Let me know. It's got to be. I was like, what is a Tamaranian from? This is affecting my geek brain.
See, I just
Starfire.
went, it's someone who lives in Tamarama.
No, Tamarama?
Yep, which is a suburb in Sydney.
Oh, is it really?
Beautiful beach. Beautiful beach.
Well, which
guys.
is it? A comic book or? Oh, never mind. I
Oh.
guess it's not. Ballerino, Hector. No, that was because probably from
You got
where
regulated.
yes, I did. I got served. Great.
Oh, gosh. What else do we talk about?
Have you guys read
What would
any
you
other?
rate the movie out of 10 if you saw it?
6 or 7.
6.
5.
Oh,
Whoa.
yeah. Okay. Whoa.
I would not.
Ooh. What would you rate Clue?
10.
I'd give it like an 8.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh, fight!
That's fine. No, you can have your 10.
I love Clue. It's one of my favorite movies.
What would you rate The Haunting starring Catherine Zeta-Jones?
12.
12 out of 10?
Wow.
I haven't seen it since.
What were we talking about earlier?
crap.
Anything but the
Oh,
book,
The Mummy
apparently.
and The Mummy Returns. Rate those.
Which one?
The Mummy Returns. Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz.
Are we talking about on like my personal rating or as a movie?
I need as a movie first.
Okay.
It is stuff.
As a movie, I'd probably say like 7 for The Mummy and probably like 5 for The Mummy Returns.
Oh, wow.
But on my personal scale, I'd say like 9 for The Mummy Returns and maybe like a 7 for
Who
The
was
Mummy.
the English guy in that? Rachel's brother? Very, very funny. I
Oh,
need to
yeah.
see
Great.
more of him.
Yeah,
He
he's
was in
great.
something. Every time he pops on, I'm like, hey, it's that guy from The Mummy. I love
what
him.
is his name?
I love him. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Someone in the comments will
Someone
tell
will
us
look
and
it
we'll
up.
be like,
He should have been way
"Hey."
more famous than he was. He was
I
great.
loved it when
That little cute kid too in The Mummy
and
Returns
I
was
love
adorable.
the stupid bookshelf bit that they do in the first one and the second one where
The
Oh,
domino.
it's great.
dominoes.
It's great.
One thing
Ooh, wow.
I think people hate about The Mummy Returns, which is fair, is the son. Son should
Oh, I
not
disagree.
be
Hardcore disagree. I understand
He looks
everybody
like Jake
hates
Lloyd.
everybody hates kid actors, but you compare that kid actor to a Jake Lloyd.
No, he
to,
does a
like,
good job.
he
I
is
just don't
adorable
want kids
and awesome.
and
See,
that.
that's
Yeah,
what that
because
is.
Rachel, it wasn't about the love story. It was about responsibility.
yeah.
It's family, man. That's a perfect sequel.
Big
Mummy Returns. It's great.
responsibility.
Orient Express in the theaters not getting a good review at all. Tamaranian gives it a solid
Clue's
5.
amazing.
Actually, Terry thought it was a 7.
John
Or
Hannah
Cleveland
is the
7.
brother. What's
John
he
Hannah.
doing?
Yeah,
Maybe I'd
he's
give it
so
like a
good.
Is
7.
he on TV?
He was
I
in
bet
Four
he's
Weddings and a Funeral, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
he is. He's in a couple of
Oh.
those.
He might have been in a TV
films.
thing too. I can't
People
remember where I saw
love
him from.
Clue.
Everyone's
Maud, you
loving Clue.
You
I'll
have to watch
it.
Clue.
Would you guys?
And we'll chat about
They're
it.
the closest thing to Indiana Jones. Well,
Yeah,
I know,
with,
but now I
with
just
a
watched.
respectful relationship. You know, I think that they were actually really quite good partners.
Who?
where-
Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz.
Yeah.
There's still a couple times where he did grab her and kiss her. The sort of like, you know what I
She
mean,
fell
like through
asleep
the
during one
jail.
of them when he goes to the
Yeah,
air.
that was great.
Yeah.
Because she like passed out. That was
Yeah.
great. But when like
And
he's in
didn't take
prison,
advantage of it.
when he's in prison, he like grabs her face and kisses her, and he's like, "You got to get me out of here, lady." Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
it's
like,
great.
"I'll
I
marry you
love the
now."
Mummy movies.
And then, man, that Middle Eastern character is super racist, but he does a really good bit. I forget what he says, where he like turns his hand like this when they're riding on the camels. When he said, when Brendan Fraser's in the prison, and they're like, "What
In
do
the
you
second
do?"
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, in the first
Oh,
one.
in the first
They
one.
get him out in The Mummy, and they ask he's like the prison ward, and the prison guard or whatever, the ward of the prison, and ask him like, "What did he do?" And he's like, "Oh, he had a very good time." Like he says, "Very good time," and it's like the best delivery. I love that. That's
I'm
why
gonna
he's
go
in
watch
prison.
the Mummy movies.
I like the Mummy more than the Mummy Returns. Okay, cool. Now that that's happened, we need to figure out what we're doing next week.
Yeah,
What
we
book?
have
Okay.
homework
What missing
for next
book?
week. So we're gonna announce what we're reading. It's gonna be a super packed month. We're gonna be reading part 1 of the Southern Cross trilogy, Annihilation.
Did you say Southern? Yay.
In 2 parts, and that's if you guys have seen the trailer for the film that's coming out that's based on this book. It looks so awesome with
Whoa.
Natalie Portman, Tessa Thompson. Is Gina Rodriguez in it as well?
Hell yeah.
It looks so good. It's Oscar Isaac, and it's directed by Alex Garland, who did Ex Machina. So, and it looks,
great movie.
yeah, it looks so good. So we're gonna read the book first. So your
Hold on,
homework
why is it the Southern Cross trilogy?
There's just 3 parts. Southern Reach.
Southern Reach.
of Southern Reach.
Really, really cross?
Southern Reach. Yeah, because the
I was in
Southern.
the comic book Southern Cross. Sorry.
Well, the Southern Cross is the
Tech as well.
the star formation that you see in Australia, which is why it's one of the symbols of Australia. It's on the flag.
Oh.
No, but what's more important right now, BComp? What do you think? Is it a comic book or is it the whole of Australia?
I wrote the line going across. That's why.
Boom! Throw that book, man.
Yes.
That was a book. That was a book throw line. Oh my gosh.
That's on me.
Oh, I love it though. I love it. It's like anytime there's anything happening, it's like it's a comic book.
Yeah, I know.
Comic book. It'll
I
save
wish
your life
that
one
we
day.
were in charge of the camera so we could just swivel it around and zoom in on your
I'm
face.
glad we can.
So, homework. Read up to page 100 in Annihilation 100.
Wow, that's like half the book.
That was
That's
that was
gonna be in
001.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
it's just two.
Oh, 1. Wait, come back.
Yep.
1, 0, 0.
There it is.
Anyway,
Yeah, that was good.
Don't forget, we're also on Goodreads, so if you like mysteries or fantasy or comic books or anything, you can search Alpha Book Club and come discuss with
Wait, we
us.
can talk about comic books on Goodreads?
I think so.
All
Graphic
right, I'm there.
novels.
All
I don't
right.
know if you can do like issues, but
Cool.
graphic novels for sure.
Can I read the book?
And we're also.
You want to read the back?
Yeah.
We
Go on,
also
go ahead and
have
read the back.
real quick. We also have forums on Alpha, so if you can't join us live, you can come. We had like a really great spoiler conversation happening in the forums over the long break. So come chat with us. If you want to chat with us on the show, let us know on Twitter.
Please,
Maud,
yes,
let us
Sky.
know what we're in for next week.
Area X has been cut off from the rest of the world for decades. Nature has reclaimed the last vestiges of human civilization. The first expedition returned with reports of a pristine Edenic landscape. What is like the time of Eden?
Yeah, like Eden in the like
Eden.
utopia, sort of paradise.
Good hope. The second expedition ended in mass suicide. Now, when you
Damn.
say that means... No, I'm kidding. And the third in a hail of gunfire as its members turned on one another. The members of the 11th expedition returned as shadows of their former selves. And within weeks, all had died of cancer. Oh, what's this accent? In Annihilation, the first volume of Jeff Vandermeer's Southern Reach trilogy, we joined the 12th expedition. The group is made up of 4 women. An anthropologist, a surveyor. My dad's a surveyor. Yay! I get to finally join in those conversations about dads doing cool things because it's never mine. A psychologist. My mom's a psychologist!
And a woman named Maud Garrett. What? What's this book about?
Sorry, I'm screaming into my microphone. The de facto leader and our narrator, a biologist. Their mission is to map the terrain, record all observations of their surroundings and of one another. And above all, avoid being contaminated by Area X itself. They arrive expecting the unexpected, and Area X delivers. But it's the surprises that came across the border with them and the secrets the expedition members are keeping from one another that changes everything. God, I'm actually really cool.
That
That's so cool.
sounds so good.
That's real cool.
Read up to page 100.
Anthropologist, surveyor, psychologist, and a biologist.
Join us on the show, especially if you've read it before, or if you're just joining us. Join us on the show. Just tweet at join every time. Join Team Alpha with the hashtag Alpha Book Club, and Courtney will get you set
I'm going
up.
to try and get my mum to Skype in as a psychologist.
Ooh, that'd be cool. Send us your book recommendations. Harry Potter, Golden Compass, anything
Jim
else.
Butcher.
Jim Butcher. What? Yes.
Son of Linus.
Yes.
The Son of Linus.
Song of the
Linus.
Linus,
The
Alana
sequel
Quartet.
to Peanuts.
Tweet at Nerdist, at Geek and Sundry, at Join Team Alpha, or any of us with the hashtag Alpha Book Club. We love you all. Bye.